feels more personal to me. I love Rachel. And so I want to introduce her properly. And Havia wants to just say a few words as well about the Rebbitzin. Rebbitzin Silber has been teaching and counseling. And counseling.
You don't have to say anything.
No, I want to say, because I feel I really want to say. So Rebbitzin Silber has been teaching counseling worldwide for more than 40 years. Born and educated in New York, she holds a BA in mathematics from Queens College, City University of New York, and a BA in teaching from Esther Schonfeld Teacher Seminary, as well as having many certifications in holistic healing. She is a senior lecturer in Neve Yerushalayim for 20 years and teaches in various seminaries and women's learning centers in Israel. Rebbitzin Silber strives to help her students find their unique gifts in Torah learning and serving Hashem, drawing from the wealth springs of Hasidus in addition to all classical Torah sources. I really feel extremely honored that Rachel came to honor us today, speaking for us. It feels very, very close to my heart, and I know that Ahavia wants to say a few words. So Ahavia, go ahead.
So I'll keep it very short. I don't want to take anybody's time, but actually, when I argued this morning, I think for the first time, who gets to introduce Mora Rachel. I'm Mora Rachel's student-in-law. My husband was Zochet to learn with Mora Rachel for 6 years in Ezra, and in New York, and really the inspiration that he got, and that when we got after we got married, and when he took me to Mora Rachel to meet her, and actually you came to Gush Katif to come to see us with students, and it was such a beautiful trip. And the way you care about all of your students is something that all of us feel. We all feel it, and it's so loving and such a zchut. And I just want to thank you so much, Mora Rachel, and from the women of the group that we're all connected to, our Nishmat sisters. Really, I've gotten so much, Baruch Hashem, from Mora Rachel through my husband and through your teaching. So thank you very much. And I don't want to take up more time. I could for a long time, but I want to learn your Torah.
Okay, thank you. Naomi, did you get the source sheet that I sent you, and can you put it up? Do you know how to do it?
I did. I'll put it up now.
I'm on my phone, so Ahavia is going to put it on because I'm not near a computer. Go ahead, Ahavia.
Okay, you don't have to do it right now, Ahavia, in a second. I was much more inspired. I'm glad that Naomi and Ahavia got it out of their system, but I was much more inspired just hearing the davening and the tefillah. I was ready to jump in then. Then when I heard about myself, I was like, all right, whatever. Hello, everybody. Nice to meet you. Nice to see. I looked to see some of the participants, and I know some of you. And welcome to Yerushalayim Kodesh for those of you who are in Chutz La'aretz. Good morning for those of you in Chutz La'aretz, and good afternoon to us who are waiting for you here with bated breath. So you know that right now in Sfiras HaOmer, and I'm sure I see you're really working women, meaning not working in the workforce. It's not what I'm talking about. I mean, you're working in Ruchnius, you're working on your neshamas, you're really doing the Avodas Hashem, really. So kol hakavod, and therefore, I'm sure you do not need me to tell you about the Omer, but I want to perhaps talk about an aspect of the Omer and the days that maybe we could strengthen. So you know that there's two ways to do Sfiras HaOmer. I'm not talking about the counting is counting, but there's two ways to live through this tkufa of these special 49 days, of which today is 23, mamish 23 days in the Omer. We're almost halfway through. Could you imagine Pesach was 23 days ago? I don't know how you feel about that. To me, it feels like forever ago. So we know that it was already mifusam. It already became known to the world what the Mekubalim and the Chassid Rebbes knew already hundreds of years ago, and that is that we're not just counting up to Shavuos, but we're also every day working on a specific midah in Tikkun Hamidos that works into the calculation of the Omer. So we know, I'm sure you know this, forgive me, the first week of the Omer was the week of Chesed. The second week of the Omer and that was Pesach. The second week of the Omer was the week of Gevurah. The third week of the Omer, which we just finished, was the week of Tiferes. Now we are in the week of Netzach, and we're the second day in the week of Netzach. So we're 23 days in the Omer today, which is 3 weeks we finished, and 2 days into the fourth week. Next week will be the week of Hod. The week after that is the week of Yesod. The week after that is the week of Malchus. And after the final day of Malchus, the next day is going to be Shavuos. So the tzaddikim tell us, the Gemara in Megillah, the Gemara in Megillah tells on page 14, first slide and the second slide, talks about, says the following, that there were 48 recorded Nevi'im, and 7 recorded Nevi'ot, 7 prophetesses in Jewish history that gave prophecy forever. Now we know that the Gemara tells us that there were over 1 million prophets, 1 million Nevi'im, 1 million Jews reached the level of prophecy during Bayis Rishon. That was an amazing experience. Imagine that probably there were maximum, we don't like to say numbers on Jews, but basically the Jewish people have been the same number, believe it or not, since we became, an official nation after the time after we conquered Eretz, after Yoshua, and after that, by the Binyan Beis HaMikdash, maybe there were 10 million Jews in Eretz Yisrael, maybe. Let's just give that number, 10, 12, 7, in those areas, not 10 million. Between 7 and 12 million Jews. That seems to be the approximation. If 1 million were prophets, that means 1 out of 7 to 10 people that you knew reached prophecy, which was the highest level that a human being can achieve. But those prophets were not recorded for generations. They had private prophecies. They would be able to help their neighbors, help their family, but it wasn't something that was going to be national for the whole Jewish people and forever. But 7 women achieved prophecy that would be national and forever. And their names were, and now you could put that up, if you want. So the first one was Sari Imenu, and this is in the Gemara. The second was Miriam Hanaviah. The third was Devorah Hanaviah. The fourth was Chana, the mother of Shmuel Hanavi, Chana Hanaviah. The fifth was Abigail. Abigail was originally the wife of Naval, and then the wife of, and you can make that bigger if you like. Everybody else can do that on their own screen, or maybe Ahavi could pick it up a little bit and make it bigger. Where am I up to? The fifth was Abigail. The sixth was Huldah Hanaviah, the cousin of Yirmiyahu. And the seventh was Esther Amalka. 7 women. So the Ari HaKadosh and brought down the Gra, the Vilna Gaon brings us down, all the Rebbes, the Kaidanever Rebbe brings us down, and all the students of the Ari HaKadosh bring down, that these 7 women and the 48 men, so these are numbers that are familiar to you. 48 ways of acquiring Torah, Pirkei Avos, we're learning now Pirkei Avos, 48 ways of acquiring Torah. 48 Gematria Moach, the mind. 48 is the root of the word Simcha, right? Sin, Mem, Chet, Hey, the Moach, the mind. Simcha, the emotion, depends on the mind. That's a whole shir. So 48 men, and 7 women. And these 7 women, what do they parallel? So you see in front of you, they parallel the 7 weeks of the Omer, the 7 Sfirot, the 7 Midot, the 7 emanations of the way how 7 out of the 10 ways that Hashem appears in the world, or Hashem shows himself in the world, the Sfirot, 7 out of the 10, and the 7 days of the week. And what are the 7s? The 7 planets that influence the world, and the 7 Ushpizin. Wow, Chevra, that's great. Keep 7s, right? The 7, all the 7s. And, of course, the 7 paralleling men. Now, interestingly enough, the 7 Ushpizin, who are they? Avram, Yitzchak, Yaakov, Moshe, Aaron, Yosef, David. They're not the husbands, except for Sari Imenu. They're not necessarily the husbands of the 7 prophetesses. There's a whole other system that works within. Yes, it's true that, so Avram was Chesed and Yitzchak Avinu was Gevurah. And yes, Rivka Imenu, the wife of Yitzchak Avinu, was also Gevurah, but she wasn't one of the Nevi'ot that her Gevurah pulls and brings down forever and ever. She has a different kind of a gevura, etc. Okay, so today we're in the 4th week. Now, I did this according to the colors of the seros, according to Rav Kaplan, that Chesed is white, Gevura is red, Tiferes is green, Netzach and Hod. Netzach is a light pink, Hod is a darker pink, Yesod is a multicolored. I put it as an orangish, but there's a few different possibilities for Yesod. And Malchus is purple and blues and greens and Tcheles, that's Malchus. Okay, so, and let's see how that works. So Esther being Chesed, sorry Yemenu being Chesed, we understand because sorry Yemenu, Avinu Chesed. Miriam being Gevura, what does that mean? Well, we know the story of Miriam, and by the way, yes, this is about your names. If any of these are your names or your daughter's names or your family's names, yeah, this is an additional layer of their self-understanding. So Miriam, we know about her power and her chutzpah de kedusha that she said to her father, and then she said to Paro. Tiferes of Devorah. So again, we're not talking about all the midos today. Just a little bit. Devorah Hanavia was a jack of all trades, if we could say such a thing, because Tiferes is a perfect blend of all perfection. It's a balance of Chesed, it's a balance of Gevura. It represents the Torah, the torso. And by the way, the placement of these is correct. The Chesed's on the right, Gevura is on the left, etc. So Miriam, and so Devorah, what was she? We learned about Devorah, right, in Shoftim. She was a shofetet, she was a judge. She was a wife. She was a mother. We don't know about her children, but in her song, we hear that she was a mother. She was a businesswoman. She was a judge. She was a king. In those days, a judge was the king. She was a poetess. She was an army expert, coordinating the wars. She was a clever woman, and she was a dayan. She knew the whole Torah. She was a prophet and a prophetess. That means that's Tiferes. Everything blended perfectly together. Now we are in the week of Netzach, so we're going to talk a little bit more about Chana. But we're in this whole week is the week of Chana. Chana was tefillah. She prayed, right? She prayed for a child. She had many children after that. Chana was beloved. Chana, we know, is the 3 primary mitzvahs of a woman. Chala, Nida, Hadlakas, and that's what her name spells, the Chet and the Nun and the Hey. Of all of the names that a Jewish woman could have, Chaya, Chava, Chana, the strongest, those are the strongest 3. So Chana is the strongest spiritual name that a Jewish woman could have. Because again, it's all the 3 mitzvahs of the Torah. Chana was the woman who prayed to bring Mashiach into the world. Because what did her son do? Remember that Chana didn't pray for a baby because she just wanted a cutesy baby to hold, right? No. Chana wanted to have hemshech. She wanted to have continuity. She wanted to bring more godliness into the world. And so she brought down Shmuel Hanavi. Shmuel Hanavi, as it says in Tehillim, was equivalent to Moshe Ba'aron B'chol Hanav Shmuel B'Korei Shmuel. It wasn't equal, but he was equivalent to. He was in the same category as Moshe ben Aaron HaKohen. And what did Shmuel Hanavi do? He anointed Shaul HaMelech. Shaul HaMelech was Mashiach ben Yosef. And then he anointed David HaMelech. David HaMelech was Mashiach ben David. The Mashiachim that I don't know who that was who was talking about Mashiach, but the Mashiachs that we're waiting for, Mashiach ben Yosef, Mashiach ben David, that was brought into the world by Shmuel Hanavi, who was prayed about by Chana. I'll say again, Chana, Chet, how do you spell Chana in Hebrew? Chet, Nun, Hey. Chet stands for Chala, which means all the laws of kashrus. Nun stands for Nida, all the laws of personal modesty, family purity. Hey stands for Hadlakat Haner, all the laws of Shabbos and Yom Tov. That's all of the women's laws, mamish rolled up in that name. It's a great name. So Chana is most well known for her song. Hashiras Chana that we say in Rosh Hashanah. She's known for not giving up hope. So the female aspect of Netzach, this whole week, the whole Sphira week, the Sphira week began yesterday, right? Because of the way Pesach came out, the Sphira week is Monday until Sunday. The whole week of Monday until Sunday is Netzach. And Netzach, we are, as women, we're actualizing, or we're tuning in to the energy of Chana. Now, today's the second day of the Sphira week, so it's the day of Gevura of Netzach. Gevura of Netzach, because the second day, the second in the Spheros is Gevura, and the fourth week, which is what we're in, is Netzach. So we're in the Gevura day of Netzach, which is Miriam. So today, a little bit about Miriam. What was Miriam and Chana? What did they have in common? Well, first of all, Miriam married Kalev from the Yehuda family, and her descendant was David HaMelech. I don't know if you knew that. And Miriam also made up a song. She sang in prophecy. Miriam also brought Mashiach into the world, because she brought Moshe Rabbeinu into the world because of her telling her father. And so today we're accessing the energy of Miriam Hanafi. We're accessing the energy of Chana. I could talk. I know they're giving me a time limit. I don't usually talk for only 20 minutes, so sorry that I'm going very quickly. The two ways that we do the Omer are the active and the
Rachel, if you need 30 minutes, go ahead, please. Go ahead.
Thank you. I wouldn't finish anyway in 3 minutes, so. This is how we're going to access this energy. The way that we access the sphere, the way that we work the sphere is the following. Either you know that today is Gevura of Netzach. Now, Netzach means a lot of things. We didn't talk about really only, we talked about a little bit about Chana, a little bit about Miriam, but what does Netzach mean? Netzach means to overcome challenges. The implication is that you're going to have challenges. If you're overcoming challenges, you have to have a challenge to overcome. L'natzach means to be a victor, to be victorious, to be the winner. Also, Netzach means forever. It means eternity. It means doing, in thank you, endurance is also a good word. Eternity means forever. Now, what is our eternity? Well, we are the eternity of our Elterin, of our ancestors, because we are their continuity, and our children are our eternity. So the whole week of Netzach is about overcoming challenges. Don't be upset if you get them, it's fine. It's about concentrating on the children and concentrating on what will be your nitzchias, what will be your eternity. What are we doing that's forever, and what are we doing that's temporary? The things that we're doing that are temporary, okay, take it, yeah, we have to do in this world, but take it with a grain of salt. You missed the bus. I don't know how many Israelis are here, but you missed the bus. Okay, not the worst thing. It's the next bus will come. But you know what you're doing, the Tehillims that you're saying, the Nishmat that you're saying, the learning that you're doing to get together. That's eternal. That's gonna. I'm sure you're in the front row when the Mashiach comes in the Beis Hamikdash. This Chevra is in the front row. So thank you for asking me to join. I'll tell them that I was once here. Maybe they'll let me in. So Netzach is about your kids. It's also about your students. Guess what, Chevra? You are my Netzach. Even though I never gave birth to you and I didn't pay for any of your weddings, but the truth is that any teacher who's giving over, and any of you who are teachers, and any of you who are giving over, you do not have to be a teacher. You could just be anyone who's sharing. You are creating eternity by giving to a person who will then share with another person. How do we know? We are therapists also, yes. How do we know? We know because our parents taught us. And how did they know? Because their parents taught them. So we are the netzach of our ancestors. Whoever we give to is our netzach. So this week we're going to try to give over. That's why it's not a accident that it came out today, this week, that I'm privileged to join with you. So how do you do netzach? You can do it in one of two ways. Number one, you could either say, okay, today's gevura of netzach. Gevura means to be focused, to be strong. So today I'm going to be strong in teaching and learning and overcoming and strengthening myself in my whatever Hashem throws my way. I'm in the chazak my emunah. That's one way to do it. That's called a proactive way to do the Omer. The more receptive way to do the Omer is to, and this is not, they're not exclusive, you can do both. Pay attention to what happens to you in every single day of the Omer and write it down. If you have something significant that happened, if I asked you right now, what happened to you yesterday? And because today a lot of you are just waking up in the morning. So what happened to you yesterday? Whatever comes into your mind, whatever pops into your mind first, that's the significant events that happened to you yesterday. So that's how Hashem is speaking to you about yesterday's Omer. What happens to you today? Pay attention to your today. What unusual things happen today? That's Hashem's message to you about the sphere of today. Now, is it a challenge? Is it a blessing? Do you have a sweet day? Do you have a hard day? So in my observations, and this is completely anecdotal, in my observations, I've noticed that when Hashem gives you something very significant, either very, very strongly positive or very, very strongly challenging on a specific day of the Omer, then Hashem is saying that you need to work on that, the midah of that day. And I'm calling the midah of that day to your attention by giving you this event, this experience, whatever. If you have a sweet, easy day, nothing special happens, a same old kind of a day, maybe Hashem is saying, this year, Tafshin Pei Aleph, you don't need to work on this particular midah of this day. You're okay with it for this year. So, because Hashem doesn't give us every day new work to do, that would be overwhelming. In the Omer, every once in a while, you get one of those powerful days, either in an easier way or in a, either an easier way or an easier way. And you're supposed to notice that, pay attention to it. It's how Hashem is sending us each a personal email saying, listen, you were really, really great yesterday, but today you need to work on your midah. So I'm going to make the following happen to you so you'll pay attention to today. Don't ignore it. Don't ignore it and just focus on the event. Let's say your plumber, say you had an appointment with your plumber today and he didn't show up and that's annoying to you. So don't just focus on the plumber and the pipes and all. No. Pay attention to the sphere of today. Maybe Hashem is saying to you, in your life, pay attention to it. Maybe it needs to be a little bit upgraded. And that's how we use the Omer. If anybody is born in Omer, in Spheres Omer, then they have an extra level dimension of self-understanding and self-identity. Because at whatever day of the year you're born, you have a Hebrew birthday, you have the day of the week that you're born on, you have the parsha that you're born into, you have the year that you're born in, and every one of these is a clue to your tafkid in this world. And then you have your Hebrew name, every one of those parts of you is a clue, is a hint to tell you what your avodah is in this world. There's a whole, there's a lot to a person. But a person who's born in the Omer has an extra additional piece of information because their Omer day that they're born into, the midah of the day, is indeed their strongest point and also their weakest point. Because as Rav Kook teaches and the Gemara says, whatever is your weakest point is indeed really your strongest. Once you elevate it, once you fix it, once you're aware of it, it becomes the strongest point in your day and in your life. So today we could sing. I like how you sing the Mizmor L'Soda. That's cute. And I'm sure Hashem loves it. So there's singing today. There's overcoming. There's being strong. Tomorrow is a completely different aspect. Tomorrow is the Tiferes aspect of Netzach. Tomorrow is a beautiful, easy way. By the way, all of these words, Chesed, Gevurah, Tiferes, etc., appear in Tehillim. And so Netzach is La Menatzeach, right? You see the word La Menatzeach in Netzach, yeah? So, and Mizmor is the word, the clue word for Gevurah. And so La Menatzeach, Mizmor LaDavid are the Tehillims that you would say for today, if you wanted to add in more to what you were saying. Okay, I got it under the wire. Just enough time, yeah? I'll have you wake
Rachel,
up.
Rachel, you can continue if you want.
Okay. It's all right. I don't want to take away more of your time. Let me just let me just, for those of you who want to know, I didn't make this in a chart, but since I mentioned that every one of the sefirot has a Tehillim, has a word in Tehillim associated with it, let me tell you what those words are, so that maybe if you want to, you could pay attention also during. So the chesed aspect, the word chesed in Tehillim is not chesed. The word chesed is hallel, like hallelu. So any word that has hallelu, that begins, it's a parak that in the beginning of the parak, if it says hallel or hallelu, halleluka, that's the aspect of chesed. Mizmor is the key word for givur, because a lizamer is to prune or to take away the negative. So you need to be strong for it. Negina, lamenatzech b'neginot, negina, that's teferis. There's not a lot of those in thank you, Ahavia. Whoa, cool that you're doing that. Ahavi's writing it all down in your notes section of this Zoom thing, wherever it is. So negina, b'neginot, not a lot of them in Tehillim. That's the Tehillim of, that's the word, that's the key word or the code word for Tiferes. Lamanatseach, as I said, that's one of the most oftentimes repeated words in Tehillim. Lamanatseach, that's Nessa. Hod is Hodu. So there are certain words that you know easy. Hod is Hodu. Hodu Hashem Kitov. Kidol Amchasu. Hod. Rav Yitzchak Ginsburg says that the midah of Hod upgrades your immune system. I don't know if you know that, but he shows how every one of the systems of the body is connected to a different of the spheros. So, and right away, if anybody wants to cure themselves, say Mizwa Lasoda. Hodol Hashem Kitov Kidol Amchasu. It upgrades your immune system. The word for Yesod, the code word for Yesod, which is relationships, we didn't talk about that at all, that's called bracha. Barchu, barchi nafshi, all the brachas. And tefillah, for Malchus is tefillah. Tefillah David, tefillah Moshe, tefillah Ani. And really any pasuk that has the word tefillah in it will be a pasuk of Malchus. So now you see that Tehillim is a whole different ballgame. You thought it was just nice, sweet songs, Hashem, thank yous and pleases. Any pasuk that has these code words in it, David HaMelech is mamish, he's configuring for us the sefirah and the way that Hashem could pour bracha into our life. Okay, that's it. That's all. Stop. There's Rosh Hashem.
Rachel, I want to ask something. So when you said Mizmor Latoda,
that's
according to Rabbi Ginsburg, it ups. You said it ups the immune system. Is that why Rav Arush tells everybody to say? Is that why the whole thing now is to say as much Mizmor Latoda as possible?
Don't know, but I'm sure that Rav Arush has Ruach HaKodesh. First of all, Rav Arush is a Talmud of Rav Ginsburg. I don't know if you know that. Did you know that?
No.
So I'm sure he knows that. Rav Arush is a clever. He's trying to cure everybody. So saying Mizmor L'Soda cures you, and it's not just saying it; it's also thinking it, feeling it. As you know, you don't need me to give you a muscle. It's also it's being it. It's being it. It's being Mizmor L'Soda. Okay.
Rachel, can I open up for one or two questions? Would you mind?
No, I don't. I don't mind. I have my next class is in 6 minutes. So you got.
Okay. So I'll open it up for one question. Does anybody have a question for the Rebbitzin?
Is there a book that you wrote, Rebbitzin, that we can get some of this wonderful wisdom?
Who said that? Let me see. Who said.
Oh, I can't turn on my video right now, but it's Sigalit Laredo.
Sigalit, I see you. Thank you for being Hashem's angel. Every time I have not yet written a book. I have like 5 books on my computer, maybe 10 books on my computer that I never finished or did. So I haven't written this book yet.
So I encourage you to do it as soon as possible, because this is quite incredible. So beautiful. Thank you so much. Chazaka Bruchati Tamid.
Amen, amen. If anybody wants to send me an outline of a book that I should write, it's very hard for me. I'm an air sign. I'm have a lot of thoughts, and it's hard for me to put it all into one place. So if anybody wants to write me an outline of what kind of book you'd like me to write, I'm open to it.
Amazing.
Chaya Malka Abramson, I know you.
Of course you do. She lives in the old city.
I know, big tzaddik.
I know she's a bit. I know.
I'm inspired by very humble, modest people. Anybody else want to say anything? You can schmooze. I like schmoozing. Yes, there are many.
Can I ask you a question about the birthday? I never knew that my birthday was in the Omer. I don't know how I never noticed this. So what were you saying about that? If you have a birthday in the Omer, could you tell?
You know what your day is? What's your day?
I do, and it's very amazing what my day is, because my day turns out to be Lamed Tes. And I run a WhatsApp every day and a message about Shabbos for women every day. And I was like, oh my gosh, it's Lamed Tes. It's the Lamed Tes. So
there you go. Yes, I have shiurim. I will send Naomi. I live in Yerushalayim HaKodesh, B'chazei Hashem Yisborach and Har Nof, and I teach in Baruch Hashem. But I will send a list. Yeah, I give a lot of Zoom classes, and if you want, I'll give it to Havia. I'll send the links or whatever. You're more than welcome to join. We have wonderful, amazing chevra. I actually have a class. Oh yeah, Michal, you're on. Hi, Michal. Yes, I teach this class in a school called Shiviti. You can get this whole class. I'm actually finishing it. It took a whole year. But yeah, Cyril, do you see how Hashem is showing you how you're on the right path? You never know.
I'm blown away.
Blown away.
I just wanted to know, but what did you say? Like, how do you're getting,
what's your Lamed Tes? What is Lamed Tes? Lamed Tes is 35. That means we finished 5 weeks and we're 4 days into the 6th week. 6th week is Yisod. So your Netzach of Yisod. That's a strong day. That's a strong day. So we could talk about it. The whole world doesn't have to hear about your life, but that's a strong. It means that your key to success is all the things plus. No, I'm not doing Nevei Away this month. Nevei Away we finished. I didn't have time for it, but sometimes I do Nevei Away. Any ex-Nevei girls here? Say hi if you're an ex-Nevei girl.
Can I ask a question?
So one
second.
But Cyril, your whole life is around, there's a lot to you, and this is just an additional part to you. There's an additional part to you, because every one of us is made up of so many things, but you have an extra part. I know you have.
I just mean in general, I appreciate that so much. It's very astounding to me that I'm Lamed Tes. But what is that? You're saying that the midah of that day is like very much a part of who you are. Like you should really, that day is a very big deal for you.
Study it. There are many online things that you could study. Yeah.
Good. Thank you so much. This was amazing.
Galina, go ahead, Galina,
Yeah.
and then we're good. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah.
And then the Rebbe has
Thank
to
you so
leave.
much. I want to know what couple books you can mention that can be beneficial, that I can learn more deep about topics that you talk. It's amazing topic, and I want to go so deep because I feel this is something that helped me to find myself and to increase my self ability to understand myself. You're amazing.
Asked about David?
About but when you talk about Omer, counting the Omer and woman and 7 woman prophecies, this I want to learn more because I feel that I'm a strong woman, thanks God. But I want to know more and how to use my strength in the direction that can bring nachas to Hashem.
I love you.
She's amazing.
I love you.
I love you.
Be Hashem. Look at that. Okay, we're gonna have to continue learning together. We'll have to. Here's my appointment. Sorry.